for it. She has to almost like expect Ozzy to go out and do something like that.
Yeah.
Being that he's the rock star that he is.
Of course.
Like, there is no excuse for it at the end of the day. But at the same time, I guarantee you it's happened many, many times that Sharon does know about, that didn't go public. And I can see in a relationship like that, where if you're married to Ozzy Osbourne, Sharon will say, look, don't ever let me hear about it. And don't ever let it go public.
Right.
Because then I have to answer to it.
Exactly.
And then it becomes like this. Like, now she's going to talk shows and stuff like that. So, the way I see it is, it's probably happened multiple times that a lot of people haven't heard of. I mean, I'd only hope that Ozzy, gets his shit together and makes shit work with Aaron, or Sharon, not Aaron. I hope it works out for him. I really do.
I do too. I mean, the thing is that he really does love Sharon.
Yeah, and Sharon's stuck with him through the entire thing. The bad drug habits,
I mean, she's been through hell and back with Ozzy.
Yeah, I mean, she watched Ozzy grow. Actually, Sharon is, pretty much the reason Slipknot is where they are today. And
oh yeah.
Because they hired them into not
Ozfest in '99.
Yep, 99, and ever since then, they've been noticed. And, big shout out to, the Osbournes for that.
You know what? Now, this is a bit of a stretch. But in a way, Sharon Osbourne revived metal in the 1990s.
Oh, no
in
doubt.
In 1996, when Ozfest was created, heavy metal was at a very bleak point. It really was. Because even heavy metal bands in the 80s were doing more alternative rock albums. Like Metallica's Load is the most famous.
Right.
That wasn't thrash metal. That was alternative. I mean, during the grunge era, metal took a toll. Big time. But in 1996, Ozfest came along. All of a sudden, new bands just exploded. Korn, Limp Bizkit, Disturbed, Linkin Park.
Well, Korn,
Slipknot.
When was their debut year?
Their debut was 94. But they were pretty popular, but they got exploded up after 1996 because their big album was Follow the Leader.
When did White Zombie become a thing?
White Zombie, early 90s.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah. Because their first record was 92. That's when Thunder Kiss and Black Sunshine came out.
Gotcha. Amazing song. I love Thunder Kiss.
And then in 96, 97, that's when Rob went off on his own.
Yeah.
Because his debut album was Hellbilly Deluxe in 98. Again, that was promoted by the Osbournes as well. Not to mention, Ozzy retired for a couple of years in the early to mid-90s. And his comeback was at Ozfest. He had released a record the year before, and his live debut was Ozfest. And the tour was called Retirement Sucks.
Really?
And that was kind of like the metal revival. Of course, a lot of your old school metalheads talked a lot of shit about new metal.
Mm-hmm.
Saying, no, it's not the same. But here's the thing, is it brought metal into the 21st century. And people need to understand that. It would have never gone back to where it was in the 80s by the mid-2000s had Ozfest and new metal bands not gotten popular in the late 90s. It just wouldn't have happened. Sorry.
Right.
And I think we owe a lot to Sharon. As much of a bitch as she can be, and as much as she can appear to be in it for the money, at the end of the day, you have to give her credit for that.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
So, I think that I have nothing but respect for her at the end of the day.
Yeah, Sharon's... Yeah, big credit to her.
Absolutely.
And, Ozfest, for what it was once. And then Mayhem got canceled, too, dude.
Yeah.
Ozfest, stopped, and then Mayhem started, and now Mayhem's not a thing anymore. But I'm looking forward to Open Air this year, which...
I'm telling you, this year has turned out to be a better year for metal than I thought in January.
Yeah.
In January, things are looking pretty bleak.
Yeah, because I was going to go to Rock on the Range, which doesn't come anywhere near to what Open Air is going to be.
No.
I mean, that show... that's going to be like the Woodstock of metal.
It is.
So...
And I think the thing I'm most excited for is Rammstein.
Yeah. Well, Rammstein, I've seen them once, and I never thought I'd see them again. So the fact that they're coming around again, amazing. And they put on the best live show I've ever seen. And then Rob Zombie's next. Slipknot may be my favorite band, but there's better stage acts than them.
Now the thing is all three of those bands I haven't seen. So this summer I'm going to be in for a fucking treat, I'm sure.
And Disturbed.
I heard I haven't seen them either.
Yeah, because they're going to be there as well. I don't know. It's going to be pretty fun, though.
It is.
So, dude, guess what? This guy that I'm reading about is trying to recreate 9/11 to prove that it was a total hoax.
Oh, come on.
Not a hoax, but...
not 7-Eleven, though?
No, not 7-Eleven. Donald Trump's an asshole. But, this guy bought a aircraft and is going to fly into a building that they're demolishing. And they want to see if the airplane will cause this building to collapse to prove that 9/11 was an inside job.
Well, if it has nobody in it, I guess there's not a problem with that.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I don't know how they're going to do that part. But I have a 2-minute clip.
I mean, at first I was thinking, 9/11 recreation? No, I don't want innocent people to fucking die.
Right. Well, yeah, no, it's not going to be a recreation. It's just going to be a building that they're demolishing, and it's a plane that he's willing to pay to fly into the building. So, it's about a 2-minute clip. I've never watched this clip before, so I don't know if it's going to be anything. Hopefully it is, but we'll see.
Hey, it's Paul from paulsalo.com, and today we have a very exciting project. So, if you want to be a part of this, if you are a 9/11 denier, or I shouldn't use the word denier, if you doubt anything about 9/11, we want to blast this to smithereens, or we want to prove you completely right. Okay? So what we're going to do with this project is we're going to purchase a 747 or equivalent aircraft that is about to go out of service. We're going to fill it full of jet fuel, and we're purchasing a building that's about to be torn down. We're here in Thailand right now, and we've talked to the Thai military. We've worked out a couple of deals for used airplanes and used buildings. We don't have anything 100% set, but what we're going to do is we're going to purchase a building that's about to be torn down in the countryside, okay, in a safe place, so we're not going to injure anybody. We're taking a fully loaded airplane, and we're going to crash it at 500 miles an hour into that building, directly into the building, using autopilot, okay? And we want to find out is what's going to happen to the building, what's going to happen to the steel, what's going to happen to the aircraft. We're going to put everything that was in 9/11, we're putting in this one. So we're putting passports, the old passports, we're going to put them around the airplane, and we're inviting everybody who contributes to this project, okay? You're welcome to come to this event, okay? So you can come with your camera, you can film anything you want. We're going to put GoPros all over inside the building. We're going to put them all over inside the airplane, and we're going to anybody who tries to mess with anything is going to be on camera, okay? What we're trying to do here is we're going to prove once and for all was 9/11 a hoax or was it real?
What do you think of that?
It's better than the idea that you had first told me about.
Which one was that?
Well, just the fact of, the first time you hear we're going to recreate 9/11, it's like, oh shit, like, people died in that and everything.
Yeah, I guess I did kind of word that kind of wrong.
But now hearing that they're going to do this in a controlled area, in a safe area, where it's not going to damage, property or people, I think that it's a good idea. Because I think that there's still a lot about 9/11 that really has not been clarified.
Right.
Like, there's a possibility that it was an inside job. It's a possibility that another group beside Al-Qaeda did the attacks. It's a possibility that the bombs were detonated from inside the building and not a crash from the airplane. So there's a lot of theories that I think still need to be put to rest. And I think if they do something like this, it gives us a clear vision of what really went down that day. So I think I like the idea.
Yeah, it's definitely... I mean, like, even they said they're going to put, like, passports and stuff in there to make sure that, they don't get burnt up in the rubbish and all that stuff. And, they're going to do, like, an investigation. Now, do you think that building will collapse? Is my question to you.
By putting a plane through it?
Yeah.
I think so.
You think 9/11 was, exactly how you seen on TV? Like there wasn't anything inside jobs on it, or?
It's possible.
Okay.
But at the same time, not likely. I'm not one of those that go as far as believing that it was exploded from the inside. Or say, oh, well, the beam shouldn't be melting that way, or whatever have you.
Right.
I think if it was an inside job, the government just hired people to do that.
Yeah.
And they conspired with groups like the Taliban or Al-Qaeda to do that. And say, hey, we want you to do this because we want to go to Iraq. We want to do this. It's all payoffs. And these people were willing to die, and we know they'd be willing to die. So, I mean, honestly, I think planes did crash through 9/11. What the motive was, I don't know. Was an inside job or a Al-Qaeda only attack. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I don't believe that bombs were detonated in the building.
Okay.
There's
Fair
people
enough.
that believe that.
Yeah.
I'm not one of them.
Right. Well, fair enough, dude. What do you got for me today?
Well, last weekend, I went to a very amazing party.
Okay.
It was probably the best party I've been to in years, easily. Something even more amazing almost happened. Everyone's familiar with the band 21 Pilots, right?
Of course. I
Yeah.
love 21 Pilots. Actually, I can't say I love them, but I have a couple few songs that I really like by them right now.
Well, they're easily one of the biggest bands in the world right now.
Right.
And they happen to be in Cleveland. Not on tour, just in Cleveland. I think someone in their band lives in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some of them are actually from Michigan.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe some are from Michigan. But anyways, my friend Chris runs a car detailing company. And he was offering to detail and clean their tour bus for free if they come to my friend Eric's birthday party. Unfortunately, 11 o'clock rolled around, and they didn't show up. They told them they'd be there at 11. They didn't show up. Midnight rolled around, 1 a.m., 2 a.m.
Let me ask you this. How did they get in contact with 21 Pilots? How did they have that kind of...
I think Chris just worked his way to talk to people and, found a way to get in contact with their manager.
Gotcha.
And so that's how that almost happened. But regardless, 21 Pilots or not, I had a great time. The vibe was incredible. You ever just go somewhere where you don't plan on staying very long, but you end up staying 5 or 6 hours past?
Right.
Because you're just having such a good time.
Oh, yeah. That actually happened to me the same night, so...
Like, that's the thing.
Actually, no, it was the night before.
I had no idea that I'd be out there at almost 3 o'clock in the morning. Because I got there at 7. I'm like, stay like 9, 10, something like that.
Right.
But 2:30, I just didn't want to leave. It was just incredible. All the people there were really chill, no drama or bullshit. And we played a game of horseshoes. We were down on the game 7-1, me and my partner. We ended up winning the game 21-20.
Yeah, you go up to 21, right? You can't go past it.
Yeah, we go up to 21.
Right, okay.
But we ended up winning 21-20, coming back from a 7-1 deficit. So that was pretty fucking incredible. Like, we worked our asses off to make sure we won that game.
Yeah.
And, of course, they had a bonfire, and they had a garage with kerosene lighters and everything like that. It was fucking great. And, everyone there was amazing. There was no drama or bullshit. I mean, there was a couple people that got out of line because they were drunk and were running their mouths. But it had nothing to do with me, so obviously that didn't fuck up my role.
Right.
And, catching up with some people that I literally haven't seen in some cases like 6 years. And it's like, oh my god, I've finally seen you again, It feels like no time has passed.
Yeah, sometimes that's fun, like, reuniting with old friends and stuff. Like, there's some people from high school that I haven't seen since high school.
Exactly.
And, we have our, we have a 5-year reunion this year.
Yep.
Which is kind of weird. I didn't think they did that, but they are.
Are you going?
Yeah, some people contacted me recently about it, and they're like, "Hey, man, you coming to this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be there." And they're like, "All right, you can bring a guest." I'm like, "Okay, well, yeah, I'll probably bring my brother or somebody like that, like somebody that grew up with us,
right?
Knew
For
him
sure.
too." But yeah, it's gonna be pretty exciting seeing all those new faces again.
Absolutely. That's how I was feeling last Saturday.
Yeah.
Even some of my friends I don't see as much anymore.
It's kind of funny how, like, 5-10 years of not talking to someone.